Hello, my name's Jemima Rees-Evans and I'm from Charles Dickens Research School, and this is a short introduction to the new guidance report from the EEF on special educational needs in the mainstream. So the EEF to date has published 15 guidance reports, and these cover a range of subjects. Some are subject specific, so these ones on the screen are around literacy and maths and science. And then there are some more generic ones, improving social and emotional learning, metacognition, also working with parents, working with teaching assistants. And the guidance reports are compiled through a review of all the available international evidence on the specific subject, and then through consultation with teachers and experts. And that process takes about 18 months, so it's really very thorough. And then it's our job as research schools to help disseminate the information, get the information out there, and to support schools in applying the findings of the guidance reports in their contexts. This is us, this is Charles Dickens Research School. We're in South London. Please do get in touch. You can see from the map where the other research schools are across England. And in terms of the guidance reports, you can either download those from the EEF website or get in touch with your local research school if you'd like a hard copy. So we think that the SEND guidance report is really, really important. We know that children with SEND don't do as well as their peers. And in fact, the gap between them and children without SEND is even larger than the disadvantage gap. And moreover, those children are twice as likely to be in that disadvantaged group as well and to be eligible for free school meals. But as Becky Francis says in her introduction to the guidance report, the overriding message is a really positive one. The evidence tells us that teachers should prioritise familiar but powerful strategies like scaffolding, explicit instruction to support pupils with SEND. And this means really in-depth understanding of the needs of those pupils and weaving specific approaches into everyday high-quality classroom teaching, being inclusive by design. And it also means really using really carefully implemented interventions and working effectively with teaching assistants where additional support is needed. So we're going to look at all 5 of the recommendations in turn. There are 5 evidence-based recommendations that come out of this report. And we're going to look at one of them in a bit more detail so you get the idea of what the exemplification looks like in the report. Number 1, create a supportive and positive environment for all pupils. And that's really about removing barriers to learning, maintaining really high expectations of learning while putting in place scaffolding and support for pupils, developing positive relationships, including consistent and proactive approaches to behaviour. And there's further guidance on those consistent and proactive approaches to behaviour in the Improving Behaviour in Schools guidance report as well, which you can also download from the EEF website. We're going to look at this particular recommendation in a little bit more detail so that you can see what else is available for each one within the guidance report. Oh, I keep being in the way. So here for the first recommendation, we've got a little bit of a case study. Then we've got some discussion questions, and these are really useful just for reflection on what's happening in your setting or to share in a staff meeting or an SLT setting, it's an SLT meeting. And then there's a bit more detail to what each of the bullet points within that recommendation, what that means and what that might look like. Oops. And then here, need to move me again. We've got even more information about what that looks like through a really good case study. This is a case study around Year 7 pupils who were really struggling at lunchtime, struggling to feel part of their community. And so measures were put in place to support them during lunchtime through some structured play activities, but really useful case studies throughout. So we're going to move on to recommendation number 2, which is to build an ongoing holistic understanding of your pupils and their needs. And that word ongoing is really important. It's not that we have fixed assessment points throughout the year, but that's a constant and iterative cycle. So it's building an understanding of the pupil's needs through assess, plan, do, review approach. And constantly, as I say, constantly revisiting that and seeing that as a cyclical, iterative process. Of using specialist support to inform both the assessment and the planning and all the other aspects of that process. And then this is really important. Relationships with parents and carers are key. Regular, purposeful meetings have a really positive impact on outcomes for pupils with SEND. And further guidance for this and for working with parents can be found in the EEF's guidance report, Working with Parents to Support Children's Learning. And again, that's available as a download from the EEF website or as a hard copy from your local research school. Okay, moving on. Recommendation number 3, ensuring all pupils have access to high quality teaching. And you'll see, those of you familiar with the Pupil Premium report, real echoes here that it's quality first teaching in the classroom is of fundamental importance. Good teaching for pupils with SEND is good teaching for all. However, the research has shown some specific strategies which teachers really should consider when deciding what to put in place for their SEND pupils. And those will include flexible grouping, so not having fixed attainment groups within the classroom, cognitive and metacognitive strategies, and again, there's a guidance report. You can download it, you can get a free copy from your research school about how to support children to develop metacognition and self-regulation. Explicit instruction has a really positive impact on pupils with SEND, and some considerations around using technology to support pupils as well. So really important strategies to consider. And again, what's good for those pupils with SEND is often good for everybody, and really expert scaffolding. And that might be scaffolding through the use of questioning or through adult support within a lesson or specific resources so that we can maintain high expectations for all pupils. And then sitting side by side, that really strong classroom practice is the really carefully planned and designed interventions, small group one-to-one interventions. We would hope that high quality teaching should reduce the need for extra support, but it's likely that some pupils will require high quality, structured, targeted interventions to make progress. And this links back to that cycle of assessment and review, that those interventions should be really carefully targeted through identification and assessment of need. And recommendation number 5 builds on really clearly from recommendation number 4. And it's around working effectively with teaching assistants. And this is absolutely critical. School leaders should pay careful attention to the role of TAs and ensure they have a positive impact on pupils with SEND. And that will be around effective design of interventions and effective training and ongoing CPD and monitoring and evaluation. And really understanding that teaching assistants and learning support assistants should supplement and not replace the teaching from the classroom teacher. Further guidance on maximising the impact of teaching assistants can be found in this guidance report as well. So that's really a sort of a speedy overview of what's in the guidance report. I will say I think there are 3 key themes that emerge and sort of go across all of those 5 recommendations and come out of the case studies and the discussion points and the reflections and some of the tools there as well. The first one is about distributed responsibility and understanding that it's a team effort, that we need really high quality teachers in the classroom to support pupils with SEND. And we need those interventions from teaching assistants, and we need that coordinated really, really effectively by SENCOs and leadership teams, and that everybody in the school has a role to play. And that goes hand in hand with really effective communication, not just with all of those people working within the school, but also with parents and carers, because that's an absolutely vital relationship, and with any specialist support that's being brought in from outside. And the third one is maintaining high expectations of what pupils can achieve, and then making sure that we give them the support to meet those expectations. So I hope that's been helpful. Please do contact us on any of the methods below. And if you're nowhere near us, then stay in touch with your local research school. Do go onto the EEF website, have a look at all the available guidance reports, because they're really excellent, really helpful. And that combination of what's out there, the research evidence, and with our professional expertise and experience, really does give us the best bets for supporting our pupils. Thank you very much.